When Mark Consuelos, longtime actor and beloved television personality, first married Kelly Ripa in 1996, theirs was a love story that seemed straight from the pages of a Hollywood script. Young co-stars who turned on-screen chemistry into a lifelong commitment. They eloped in Las Vegas, skipping the fanfare, choosing instead intimacy over spectacle. And for decades, they were the gold standard, playful, passionate, unshakably loyal. Together, they built a home, raised 3 beautiful children, and navigated the unpredictable tides of fame, always appearing to be each other's anchor. Whether hosting morning shows or posting charming moments on social media, Mark and Kelly seemed like the couple who had it all. But as many of us who've been through decades of marriage know, love is not always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's about the quiet moments, the unseen sacrifices. And sometimes it's about recognizing when 2 people who once moved in perfect harmony are suddenly out of sync. By 2025, rumors began to surface. Not scandal, not betrayal. Just whispers of distance, of growing apart, of lives slowly diverging after nearly 30 years together. Sources close to the couple described something that felt less like a collapse and more like a slow, quiet unraveling. Mark, always proud, always protective, began to withdraw from the public eye. He appeared more reflective, more subdued. And though Kelly continued to bring her signature warmth and wit to television screens, there was a subtle shift. Something behind the smile. A fatigue not from work, but from emotional weight. Insiders say the cracks began with the pressures of public life. Kelly's relentless filming schedule in New York, Mark's growing desire to step back, slow down, and spend more time focusing on what truly mattered: family, health, peace. What once bonded them, mutual ambition and drive, began to pull them in different directions. They tried, of course. Marriage, after all, is not abandoned easily after decades, especially when it's one built in the public eye. But even the strongest foundations can strain under the weight of years of change. Friends say Mark began grappling with a deep sense of loneliness, not because he was unloved, but because he no longer felt seen in the way he once did. As their children grew up and moved on with their own lives, the couple, once partners in everything, began living more as roommates than soulmates. The emotional toll became more evident when Mark was photographed during a quiet moment alone in Central Park. He wasn't with his usual entourage. No camera-ready grin. Just a man, quietly thinking, clearly carrying something heavier than words. When news broke of their separation, it wasn't met with tabloid scandal, but with sorrow and respect. After all, Mark and Kelly had shared more than a marriage. They had grown up together, raised a family, built a life. Mark has remained mostly silent since the announcement, but those who know him say he's been on a journey inward, revisiting who he is outside of the role of husband and father, leaning on close friends, taking long walks, journaling, even exploring spiritual practices that offer him peace. And though Kelly has remained gracious and professional, sources say she too has been quietly grieving the life they once shared. A love that didn't fail. It simply evolved into something neither of them expected. For many of us in our 60s, this story resonates in a way younger generations may not yet understand. Because we know that love, even enduring love, can still change. And sometimes the bravest thing we can do is let go, not with anger, but with gratitude. Mark Consuelos' story is not one of scandal, but of transition, of honoring what was while learning how to walk forward alone. As he navigates this deeply personal chapter, his grace, vulnerability, and quiet strength remind us that even the most familiar lives can carry unexpected sorrow, and yet, also, the chance for renewal. And for those of us watching from afar, we hold hope for healing, for peace, and perhaps, one day, for joy once again. Would you like a voiceover version or description for visuals to match the script?